folks reminisce with some feel-good music as we have grown conversations.
Join us on our journey as we apply knowledge to power. For together we are better.
Every Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Grown Folks Radio, Everyday Talk with Carmen and Kevin.
1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. It's my time to rise. It's my time to shine. It's my time to live. It's my time to fly. It's my time. It's my time.
And it's Grown Folks time. Welcome, Grown Folks. As always, thank you for joining us on this journey. And to all the new listeners, welcome to the Grown Folks family. This is Everyday Talk with your girl Carmen and your boy Kevin.
What's up, fam? Happy National Grammar Day.
National Grammar Day.
That's right, and you guys don't get to see none of my writing. So that's what we're going to say about that.
Well, grammar is not necessarily just in writing. So is it right to say it becomes more easier? Is that proper grammar?
I don't even know.
For some people.
I'm going to plead the fifth. Boom.
It is not. Hey, family, you know, as always, if you have not yet followed and liked us, make sure to do so. We're on all social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, or visit us on gfrworldwide.com. Today, we are going to dive into the part 4 of Time to Heal. And it's been a great conversation to say, to put it in small words. We've been diving deep. We went through the 5 stages of hurt, and we've been speaking and sharing based on our experiences, based on our research, and based on our professional resources. And that's our little disclaimer there. That's what we do here on Grown Folks Radio. But we do it because we know they are crucial conversations for everyday living. And so in order to be able to do that, to be able to be in a fruitful state, we need to take care of some things that sometimes kind of hinder us a little bit. What you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. But like what we said always, fam, we will stay on a topic as long as we need to. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that we pride ourselves with, as much as the family, whatever the family needs, we'll stay on topic. So I'm excited that we are we're staying on it, to be honest with you, because I'm learning stuff every week. So yes.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting the way we kind of attacked this subject, because we went backwards. We kind of just started with the hurt process and what actually happens when you become hurt or you experience a loss. And now we're going into the heal process, the healing process. But of course, you know, we have started a new month, and now we have a new indie artist.
What?
Yeah, there you go. Family, you know, it's the month of March, so it's the beginning, first show of the month, and we have a new indie artist. Family, I would like to introduce you to Miss Solim, right? Solim, yeah. All right, got it right. Enough? Yeah, I'm close.
It's close.
I don't know why I can't.
Solim.
You know what it is? My grammar.
Your grammar.
Okay,
I thought it was written. We can't see the writing.
We should pass over that.
Yeah, I was trying to give her something to ride with, but okay. All right, guys. Hey, it's a new month. Let's jump right into it. Our new indie artist of the month, Miss Solim. All right, with Love Ain't Love, right here. Everyday Talk with Carmen and Kevin
on Grown Folks Radio.
It's the call of an angry nation, divided by hate and war, shattered by indignation. Humanity once more is the call of a universe, imploding from within. Its beauty is forgotten, it's got not much to give. Is the call of those in pain, needing you to make the way. Is the call of love. Love ain't love till you give it away, until you give it a purpose, until you give it a purpose, yeah. Love ain't love till you give it away, until you give it a purpose. Love ain't love till you give it away. You gotta give 'em your love. 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 You gotta give 'em.
Changing the mindset. We're breaking the mold, bringing back the love and care at Grown Folks Radio. Everyday talk with Carmen and Kevin.
All right, fam. That was our Indie Artist of the Month, Miss Solim.
Salam.
Yes, I got it right. Look, don't do this. Okay.
And we put it out there for you guys to see. If you're not joining us on the Chatterbox, make sure to do so. We're out there. And we're normally on, Facebook Live all the time over on the Chatterbox. We want to take a moment and say hello to the family who's joining us at the moment. We have Nichelle online, as well as Eric Torres, who said, God bless y'all. Nichelle, that dance was for you. So I don't know.
She said no.
I don't know. Hey, family, for the Indie Artist of the Month, I do want to share, you can find her on her Facebook page. She's under Salam Ministry. You can also find her under Salam Live. You can find her music on YouTube as well. And she's on our page on Grown Folks Radio Worldwide on Facebook as well. And you can find her information. I know her as Sandy. So I get a chance to, this is actually a personal indie artist for me. Because I know her from way, 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 way back. I will tell you that Salama has been blessed with singing music since the age of 4. And she currently lives in Connecticut, where she pastors with her husband, Rooted Life Church in Stratford, Connecticut. And they've been married for, forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever. I have 5 children. She's an excellent mommy. And she's also she works social cases too. I can't tell you all of that stuff. But outside of that, her heart has always been music. And so her ministry is always has been in singing. She has 2 albums out. One of them is in Spanish, which I love a lot of the music that's there. And I was around when she actually released that one. We were actually in the same, I was going to her church, and she actually released that one.
Nice.
That was really cool to be able to experience that. But I will tell you that she is truly a person who loves the Lord.
Yes, she does.
And she is an amazing preacher. She is amazing, absolutely. But she loves the Lord. She treats you the same way. You meet her today, and you see her 10 years later, and she's the same person. Mm-hmm. She's never different. So I'm truly excited that she's our Indie Artist of the Month.
I'm excited.
Awesome.
Can't wait to hear the music. I heard little snippets of the songs last night, and fam, I got to tell you, it's good. It's really good. So, I mean, just the song that we heard today, Love Ain't Love. I mean, everybody in here was bobbing their head. You know what I mean? So if that's any indication of how good this is, yeah, I'm excited about where this is going.
Yeah, and the thing is that she's a songwriter too. A lot of her songs, she wrote them. Her husband, they wrote the music. And if you see the lyrics, it's all very natural. The stuff we talk about here, right? So she's talking about love ain't love unless you give it away, right? Unless you give it a purpose. So, I mean, yeah, it's beautiful stuff. So I'm excited. So guys, go out there, look her up, find her music. I love her Spanish song, Yo Te Añoro, which I love, absolutely love.
Yeah, you should have seen me trying.
Kevin was trying to say it yesterday.
Last night.
Is it weird that I would just listen to it just to hear?
No, not at all. Because it's once again, it's good music.
Yeah.
However, watching me trying to pronounce that, boy,
nice.
It was comical.
So it's really awesome. So I'm excited. Of course, family, we have this amazing segment, and we're kind of getting into that moment, which we're the fellas. If you're already lined up, if you're not, go get them, ladies. If they're not around, or if you're single and you want to know what it would be like for a man to be able to handle certain situations, or even little recommendations and just suggestions for them as well, go ahead, write them down, share them with your brothers, your nephews, your uncles, or those who are close around you. It's great stuff. Hey, family, here we are with Kevin's Manly Manners.
Hashtag Go Tampa. Every week.
That's so sad.
Lose.
Whatever.
You're forgetting the word.
Welcome, family, to my segment of the show, Kevin's Manly Manners, where I talk to the men in the family. And the first lady made a good point. It doesn't necessarily, this segment doesn't necessarily mean directly for your husbands. Any man in your life, whether it's your father, whether it's your brothers, your husband, boyfriend, son, whatever, get them connected to the Manly Manners. All right. So, family, before we get started, every week we're going to talk about Jeremiah 29:13, which simply says, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." Family, Carmen and I, Dan, we personally invite you to seek God in everything you do. All right. He's in everything, every decision you make, every move that you make. He's in everything. And once you start seeking him, family, you will notice that you will move differently. Your perspective on things will be differently. You will speak differently. So we ask you to open your mind, open your heart, open your soul, open your perspective to receive the message as it's supposed to be received. All right. All right, guys. So I talk here recently about the men's group that I'm part of with my church, and every week, guys, they're dropping nuggets on us guys. And there's so many of us men that we have wounds, and a lot of them come from our parents. Tonight we're gonna not necessarily address this in a negative way, but we're gonna really talk about what every son needs from their dad.
Oh, yeah.
What every son needs from his dad, regardless of how old you are, regardless of if you're a father or you're a son. Okay, this is there's 5 things we're going to talk about, guys. All right. So number 1, and just so you know, this material was created by Dr. Robert Lewis for the series 33 that we use at the meeting. Okay. So number 1, guys, spending time together is important. Spending time. And ultimately the reason why is because you're creating positive memories. You're building a solid foundation. If you're a father, spending quality time with your son, you're building that confidence. He's learning you. You're already his superhero right? So imagine you're his superhero and he's allowed to talk to you about the things that's going on in school, the women, the girls that he's meeting, the events that's happening to him with his homeboys. You know what I mean? You have an opportunity, fellas, to truly find out what's going on with your boys.
Yep.
Okay. Number 2, life skills. There are a lot of men in this world who don't have basic life skills, and we end up running into women that require us to have life skills, right? And you see so many things on Facebook, social media, okay, where you see all these guys out here that are actually looking for women to fix them, you know. And what I mean by fix them, they already have their credit in order, and they already got this, they already got that, so you just looking to plug and play. No, guys, when you have life skills, you know about money management. You know how to be able to cook. You may not be a 5-star chef, but you know how to cook to survive, right? Understanding and truly understanding, because I deal with this every day. Understanding and being able to manage your credit. Understand how important it is to have good credit, okay? Being able to hold a conversation. We've shown time and time again, us as men, that disconnect. You know, we're all about providing, but we can't hold a conversation longer than to get whatever we need. If it's with a young lady, we're gonna talk as much as we need to talk to achieve our goal.
Yep.
Whatever that is, okay? And have the ability, fellas, to diffuse conflict. So many times when we're in an argument or we walk up on an argument, we engage, we add fuel to the fire. But being the men of the house, we have to be able to diffuse the situation. Being able to be smart enough to assess the situation and address it in a non-confrontational way.
Yep.
Okay?
It's hard.
Yeah, it is. All right, number 3, guys. Give direction with solid answers to the why question. So, you know, for me, it was like, okay, so what is a why question? A good why question, fellas, is, you know, sharing.
Sorry.
when your son asks you, why did you do the things that you did when you were that age, his age? You know what I mean? And yeah, you gotta be ready for that. You know what I mean? Because it's coming, and you know, you don't want to lie, but you want to use that opportunity to have a, you know, learn from my mistake kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 4, deep life convictions. Family, you will leave in your sons what you lived out in your house. And what that simply means is being a good example of a man while you're at home, while he's at home, how you treat his mother, how you handle things going on at the home, you know, whether it's bills, repairs, how you handle money, how you handle situations and overall relationships in the household. He's going to mimic that. He's going to mirror that. So always be mindful. I've said it so many times on the show. You have to be mindful of the young men that surround you, guys, whether you have a son or not. You know, you have to be mindful, all right, because people, you know, the little ones are watching you. And the last one, number 5, your dad's heart. Not every guy, I get it. Not every guy is that I love you, son, or I'm proud of you, son. But sometimes they don't know that. One of the big areas of opportunity for myself, fam, being transparent, is my son's perspective over me. Now, once we had that sit down and I explained to him what was going on, it changed. But his perspective of everything, of his interpretation of everything that was happening was off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's way different.
It's way different. So now I make it a point to tell my son I love him. You know, I'm happy that he's doing whatever he's doing. And we our relationship has gotten better. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
good.
Fellas, don't be that dude to allow your children to assume that you love them. It's okay to grab them and say, hey, I love you. You know what I mean? Give them a hug and just let them know that you're proud of them. Open that line of communication, fam, because if the line is open, they'll tell you anything.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that will conclude the Manly Manners.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's great stuff.
Good stuff. Very nice stuff. Important stuff. All right, family, we want to take a moment and say hello to Joel as well as Miss Suzette and those who are listening. Make sure to say hello to us. We'll love to say hello back. And we've already put out a question to the chatter box, so make sure to answer it. We would love to share your input. And now we're going to go with a quote to give. Oh, no, he's not ready. Never mind.
No, I got it. All right. So tonight's quote is, wounds don't heal the way you want them to. They heal when they need to. It takes time for the process of healing to take place. Give yourself that time. Give yourself that grace. Be gentle with your wounds. Be gentle with your heart. You deserve to heal.
Amen.
Very nice.
Yeah, Dan's
Good
on
quote.
fire.
Yay.
Mr. O'Toole. Don't
Took
do
like
it
an
like
hour
that.
to
Don't do it
find
like
this.
that.
It took like an hour to find it. But it was good.
So sad. So
What?
sad. Sometimes
What?
I don't understand. Hey, family, we've been celebrating the national days, and this month happens to be Women History Month. Woo! Do for all the ladies out there.
Nat.
And this
She screamed a little. Put her mics off.
Oh,
and this year the theme
Wow.
is Valiant Women of Vote. So with that, I want to say that after decades of agitation and protests and much work and much tears and sweat, on June 4th, 1919, which was later ratified on August 18, 1920, Congress passed the 19th Amendment granting women the right to vote.
very nice.
Very nice, ladies. So for the women out there before us, I always say it, and so much work has gone to give us the opportunity to be able to voice our vote. If you have the opportunity to do so, go out there. There's people who work so hard for you to be able to have that opportunity. And so I wanted to make sure that when we're highlighting women, we're highlighting women in all aspects, right? So I'm going to highlight 4 for this week. So Amelia Earhart, she became the first woman to pilot solo a nonstop flight across the Atlantic Ocean in 1932.
That's a lot of water.
Long time.
That is a lot of
And
water.
you know, the planes weren't like the planes weren't like they are
Yeah.
today. So
No.
you're talking about solo. All right, you go, girl.
No autopilot.
Junko Tabei was the first woman to reach the summit of Mount Everest in 1970.
That's another one. That's super high.
Ella Fitzgerald was the first woman to win a Grammy in 1959.
Very nice.
And of course, I say this with a lot of, me in there because I remember seeing her as an actress. Rita Moreno.
Yeah, I
She
can't say that.
became the first Latina to earn the rare status of, I'm going to say it wrong, PEGOT, right? So usually it's EGOT, which is you win an Emmy, Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. But she is one of the rare recipients who has the Peabody, the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony Awards. And there's only 2 others in that category.
Wow.
And that's Barbara Streisand and Mike Nichols.
Very
Wow.
nice.
And there's only 15 who have, the EGOT category. There's only 15, but so it's a rarity, right?
Yeah.
It's not like everybody wins all the types of awards, and she received that in 2019.
That's awesome.
So that's really cool. That concludes our
Absolutely.
ladies, our Women's History Month for this week. I'm so excited to see what we find next week and what we get to speak about and celebrate the women. So we want to get into our conversation, right, in regards to part 4 of A Time to Heal and start talking about everything we have learned. And last week we finished the 5 stages of hurt, and I'm actually going to start asking questions, so everybody get ready.
Oh, Lord.
Man. Boy.
5 stages of hurt, and today we want to dive into the healing part part, right, in the healing process. But in order to be able to speak about the healing process, you know, it's always great to be able to converse with others because you get to learn from their journeys.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it's similar to yours and sometimes it's completely opposite. And you get to learn certain things. And sometimes you even find that you might have just a little bit of a root in there. Sometimes you're just grateful to see that you're fully healed because you can actually see what's going on in the other person's life. So it works out in every way because you get to build and encourage one another and support one another throughout the process. So as with every conversation, you know, we gave our little disclaimer. So my quick question is going to be, do you believe people or yourself may fear the healing process? And why or why not?
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to get mine out the way.
Okay.
I want to say yes. I truly believe people fear the healing process because it's a process. It's like what we talked about, the 5 stages, right? And it's very easy to get into anger, for example, and stay there, right? You know, and not go through the acceptance or the bargaining or what's the other one?
Negotiating.
The negotiating. You know, it's so much easier. You know what? I'm mad and I'm going to stay here until I feel like I don't want to deal with it no more. But then you haven't healed. You just swept it under the rug until another trigger point. So I want to say, yes, I believe there's a lot of people that are, they're afraid of that.
Because
process.
it's easier just to stay comfortable.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
easier to stay there.
Comfortable.
Yeah. You know, it's easier to be depressed.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think people fear change. So it's easier to just kind of sit in that, and even sometimes you may think you're healing or think you're doing things and you're not actually going through the process.
Right.
Because you fear that change. You don't want things to change. You like the way things are. It's a comfort thing, staying in your comfort zone. And yeah, I think a lot of people don't grow because of that. So healing
Absolutely.
is very important. And I'm learning that as time goes along, how important it is to face your truth and be you and just stay true to yourself, man. The healing is what's going to get you to that next level. You're going to have that freedom to express yourself and be yourself effortlessly and love harder. So just for the people out there, because I know what that's like. I've been through it, especially recently, man. Don't fear the change. Embrace it. And take it in with everything that you breathe and let go and let God.
Look at that, dropping nuggets.
There we go.
Okay.
I definitely agree as well with everyone. Plus, some people are just, like we said, comfortable, and they don't want to bring their hurt to light.
Yep.
Yeah.
To deal with it.
Yeah, they don't, the real reason they don't want to face that.
Okay. I agree. You know, I think that people, it's easy for us to wonder about the outcome. So we might not necessarily fear the process. We fear the outcome. What's going to happen from there? What now? You know, and so we kind of just go through. It's easier to stay in the hurt because we know how to deal with the hurt, even if it's just masking it.
Right.
Versus healing and not knowing, okay, well, then how do I get past this? Not get past this, but what do I do after I pass this?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, because everything I've known has been whatever that situation has been, or that person, or whatever the loss has been experienced in the life. All right, so that's good. So our focus in that question is not to judge why someone has or has not. Instead, is about God. What is God really telling us about that situation? Right? What is going on in our own struggle, in our own issues, and how to be able to identify that. So maybe it feels like as though there's no hope, right? And no reason to continue. And a lot of times that can be misinterpreted because we think that the process of transformation is actually confrontation. And a lot of times we won't want to do the confrontation, right? Mm-hmm. Because then we have to confront a lot of the truths and a lot of those truths also have to do with us.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we have to be able to also realize that. So we do not fear the healing, as we were speaking about. We fear the outcome.
The outcome. Yeah.
What's that truly going to be? So there are, different areas of healing that we wanted to speak about, the spirit, the emotions, and the mental. And a lot of those have common grounds in all three in regards to the healing. So a lot of the healing carries one common denominator, and that is
Forgiveness.
forgiveness.
Hey.
Isn't it so nice to have notes?
I know what I'm saying. I'm paying attention, yo. I'm paying attention.
So I got another question.
Uh-oh.
Nichelle did say change is wonderful, especially for the better.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%. You also have to be open for that. Right, so we go through that process and find out whether, we're okay with that change. And sometimes we find ourselves we're not okay with that change, like we're getting really close to the healing, and then all of a sudden we go backwards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because it's just easier to stay in that. If it's a relationship, it's easier to stay in that toxic environment because it's just what you know.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to start over.
It's what you know, or it's been a long time, like you're saying. You don't want to start over. You already know this person. You know what it looks like when they're mad, what it looks like when they're good, what it looks like when they're about to get mad. What are the trigger points? So it's easier to stay in that.
Yeah.
If it's a relationship, right? If it's a job, it's the same thing. You kind of know when the boss is going to come up upset or is going to yell or they're going to, blow a casket or whatever it may be, or a loss.
Walk out the door.
Right? Sometimes it's just easier to stay in memories.
Yeah.
Instead of walking away from it, or at least placing it in an area of, this was good for that time, or this is what happened at that time. Now it's time to move forward. So the question is, in your experience and in your journey, was it hard for you to forgive? And why or why not? What did you get from that process when you realized it?
It was hard for me to forgive. At first in the instances with me, because my emotions were in the way. Once I settled my emotions, I dealt with my emotions. Then the forgiveness part began to take place. You know what I mean? So with me, it was hard at the beginning because I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm like,
why?
I'm dropping, why?
Why?
You know what I'm saying? And going through that whole phase. But once I got my emotions in control, in order, it became easier in the process. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
definitely was hard. It's still a little bit hard sometimes here and there. You go in phases. It's like a roller coaster.
Yes.
You go up and down. One day you're like, oh, I truly forgive that. And then next day something comes up and you're thinking back to it and you're like, dang it, why did I get upset? But it's definitely hard to fully forgive. And I mean, from my experience as well, I stayed in that angry phase.
But we have to forgive.
Yeah, you do.
When Carmen and I had this conversation last night, talking about it, it's if you just take a couple of seconds, and if it's a relational situation, do you think that person is worried about you?
Nope.
Right.
Not one bit.
You think that person is worrying about, you being upset, hurt, crying, feeling how you're feeling? No, they're moving on with their lives. So, if you think about it like that, just for a second, that kind of gives you like, wait, what? Okay. Nobody's going to love you better than you. Yeah. Right. So you have to be mindful enough to take care of you. Right. And go through the process, go through the healing process, go through the forgiveness process, whatever you need to do, because there's light on the other side.
Yeah.
Yes.
I understand what you mean when you say, do you think the other person is like worried about you or thinking about you? But I think that it's important to have like a positive mindset. So I would love to think that that person is out there and is thinking about me or thinking about how they did me wrong or how they hurt me, and that a big thing for me is not so much forgiving the other person, but forgiving myself.
Yeah.
And you know, that's harder for me than forgiving anyone else. Yeah, sure, Kevin, you knocked me over, you hurt me in some way, or said something I didn't like. I can forgive you, but there's things in my life like that I found it's so hard to forgive myself for allowing myself to not only go through that once, but to continuously go through it over and over again, like a repeated cycle, and not take the time for myself to stick up for myself or to fight for what's right, or, you know, believe I deserve better and things like that. So my forgiveness, the biggest comes with myself. So I have many people in my life who I told you, like, when I feel things or I think things, I'm direct. I'm going to tell you what you did and how it made me feel, and I'm going to forgive you. And I would hope that you are out there, you know, thinking about, damn, you know, I had a good one. I don't want to think that they're not, because I feel like that puts a negative mindset in me, and then I'm too worried about whether they care or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, my whole thought process when behind that comment is it shouldn't matter, and in my mind, it shouldn't matter whether or not they care, because if you forgave yourself, if you forgave, you know, yourself and your part in the whole situation, for your health, for your mind, for your well-being, you still have to go on. You know, there are, you know, those few that do have that. They are thinking, wow, you know what I mean, that was a diamond in the rough and I messed up. But there's a lot of other ones that are caught in that selfish mindset. They're caught in that. They don't know any better because that's how they're wired. They're not growing like you are. They haven't had a chance they don't know what it's like to self-assess, you know, what's really going on and how their actions are affecting other people, right? Because they're caught up in their emotions. Do you see what I'm saying? That's all I was trying to say with that, but I get you.
I was just thinking in my head, too, like, how powerful it is to just, like, to acknowledge someone who is hurting you, especially, like, continuously over the years, and just tell them, I forgive you. Like, that's so powerful.
Yeah, it is.
It takes away from everything. They're just, like, obviously, I would hope that they sit there with some sort of remorse.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's crazy how that can change situations, change people, and even empower you to be, like, a better version of yourself.
Absolutely.
Because you're, like, at that point, you're letting go, and you're like, I'm good.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'm good after this. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I'm moving on.
So Nichelle said, at first it was hard for me to forgive because I wanted to hold on to what happened. After I saw that others involved in the situation moved on, I realized I was the only one living in the past and living in the hurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's exactly what I was talking about.
Now I can easily forgive. Oh, sorry. Now I can forgive easily because I realize whomever hurt me, I can't hold it against them. I look at it as that's who they are, and all I can do is forgive them and pray for them. I am now moving forward and not living in the anger and hurt.
All right.
Woohoo! Go Nichelle.
Hey, fam, listen, guys.
Nice.
We want you to chime in. You know what I mean? We love Nichelle and the family that's here to participate. There's so many of you, fam, that are listening, and we appreciate you, you know, chilling with us on this show.
Definitely do.
You know what I'm saying? But we want to hear your side too, fam. We want to hear your thoughts, and so we personally invite you to that. We invite you to sit down at the table and join the conversation. Right? Together we are better. Applied knowledge is power. You know what I'm saying? You never know what nugget you're going to get in casual conversation sitting right here at the table. Okay?
Or give someone else.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to kind of twist that a little bit in regards to the forgiveness, because we were talking about, was it hard for you to forgive? But did you find yourself in the same conversation that we're having? Have you ever found yourself that you thought you forgave, and then you realize that you did not? And when was that realization? Like, what happened? You know, like.
Yeah. I mean, and it kind of, you know, it ultimately what happened was I swept stuff under the rug, I guess. So when those trigger points showed up again, those things that I thought weren't going to bother me again, it was easy to think about that when they're not happening to you. Right. But then when you see it and it's happening all over again, really, you know what I mean? Not only am I allowing myself to feel and get bothered by this again, but the audacity of that person to try it again if it's relational. But that person's going to try this again, knowing that was an area of opportunity before, right? So yes, I have really dealt with that.
What you think, Nat?
Kevin's got a point. I think we all make it a habit at some point to brush things under the rug, and and the time we want to be brave and be bold and forgive, and then realization hits you and you're like, man, I never really healed from this, and I'm not ready to forgive you. And it takes time, as time goes on, and then you just know, when you're ready, but have I personally made that mistake? Sure. And I've been on the other end of that mistake, and that's a big mistake right there to make, because I don't think I realized the severity when I did it, but when it happened to me,
Right.
oh, it was like, I was like, wait, what? No way. You already said this. We can't backtrack and go back. But at the end of the day, we're all human. I feel to take a step back and realize that we are human. We all have feelings. And maybe that person was not healed.
Right.
And it hurt me when it came to the front line. And I was like, I realized what was going on. But it hurts more when that forgiveness just isn't there at all. So I'd rather go through it again and give you your time to heal than have to sit there and deal with it over and over again. So the forgiveness is needed. The healing is part of the process. And I just can't emphasize it enough to just stay true to you, man. Because at the end of the day, that's all you got.
Yes, right.
That's all you got.
That's right. What you got, Dan?
So Miss Solem is on.
Uh-oh.
So she's watching with us. So hello.
Hola.
So for me, I have two things. Nichelle shared something again. So Nichelle said, yep, because I never dealt with it when I saw that person again and the emotions flared up. Also, when someone mentioned them and my first reaction was a negative comment. I have learned to catch myself now.
Yeah.
I'm in that same position now where I'm catching myself saying something or about to say something. I've done both. And then I catch myself, especially when my son's around. I definitely don't want to speak about his mom in that way. So he doesn't think any negative. But yeah, I mean, I catch myself and I'm like, man, I guess I didn't fully heal from that situation.
But see, the way it's a beautiful thing that you're catching yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're feeding into that negativity, right?
Yep.
So when you start allowing things to just, whether it's something said or done, you know what, you take it rolls off your back, you keep moving. That's how you know you're beginning the healing process. Yeah, you're taking steps now. Celebrate that. But when as things are. Other trigger points of your past start surfacing and how you handle them, walking away, not saying anything, you have a great day. You don't understand the impact that makes on that person to let them know, or anybody know, hey, Dan is not about that no more. Dan is about him. And when people see your healing and things, especially people that are negative and they doing negative things to people, when it shows that they can't affect you that way, they'll stop.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They'll stop.
That definitely happened.
I think that's key. I do want to say that Salam did say hello back. So for all of you who are out there, make sure that you say hello.
Can I say it? Hola, ¿cómo está? Did I do it right?
And that happened.
Okay.
I think to Nichelle's point, I think that we can all have that masking effect of saying that we've forgiven someone until it shows up in our face. And then all of a sudden we got to deal with something. So whether it's that the person shows up in your face or the event comes back or something just goes ahead and pushes the buttons on those emotions, then you realize I haven't yet I haven't yet
Yep.
really forgiven. Like, I'm done. It took me, that moment right there just took me way back to the beginning. And so, or halfway. And you find yourself that you really weren't in a position, you're not as healed, or you haven't forgiven as real as you thought you had.
Right.
So that kind of goes with that. So since forgiveness is such a big part, right, and it's the biggest factors to healing, we want to share some steps with you in regards to healing, in regards to the forgiving, towards the forgiving part of it, right? And they're just little things that can help you along the process, because it's important to be able to understand where you are and where you are in the healing process, but also getting towards the point of forgiving, right? Forgiving whatever the situation is, whether it's the person, whatever it may have happened, to get to that point, and forgiving yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So main little things that you can do for yourself is identify the hurt.
Yeah.
Put a name to it. What's that hurt that happened in your life? What's that root? It's sort of like that emotional wheel we put out there.
Mm-hmm.
What caused that? Where's that hurt at? And then understand the hold the hurt has in you, right? Mm-hmm. So because of your anger, you're not able to, just to put it simple, you're not able to have a conversation about that topic with others without that emotion surfacing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So acknowledge any emotions brought by the hurt. There is nothing wrong with you saying, I'm sad, I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm depressed, whatever it may be. Of course, as we have mentioned before, if you find yourself in a state where it's actually has gotten, the emotions are now taking over you, we recommend going out and speaking to someone. We all have spoken to someone. We have all spoken to a therapist, to psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever it may be. Don't take it personal. And what that means is that, remember, there's different parts of stories, and sometimes people are selfish and they might cause a certain type of hurt because they want to. Other times it's all they know. It's the only thing they know how to do, because that's the way they learn how to react and act with people. It doesn't excuse it, but the meaning of don't take it personal is that that's the only thing they know how to do.
Right.
Yep.
That's all they have, and that's all they're able to give you. That's another situation, right? So if the loss is something different, look at it and try to find out what it was and how that fits into that specific event. Live in the present, right? Live in the present. So the Bible specifically tells you that the Lord gives you a brand new day, and then that's me summarizing. But he gives you a blank page, a brand new day. It's fresh, brand new. So that means whatever happened, right, is past, is already gone. It doesn't come back. So we should look at it in the same way. We should be able to live in the present at the moment, at this time, while we're talking, while we're speaking into the mics, while people are in the chatterbox. We live in this moment. Learn from the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Learn from the experience. What did it teach you? What did it teach you about yourself? Look at it in the other side. How did it hurt you? And what did that teach you in yourself? And where did that specific, if you can go back and kind of outline where that hurt really came from, you probably find it somewhere in your childhood.
Yep.
Yes.
And in saying that, Miss Solem said we need to heal at the root and
Yes.
identify the triggers.
Mm-hmm. But you got to get to a point where you know what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So many of us, we kind of go through life not doing this, not knowing this until later on. So, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this show. We're trying to get you to pump the brakes a little bit, fam. And I have it here written down: self-assessment to address the hurt, to address the healing, to address your perception on things to make you a better person. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I like what she said, and I know that Dan's probably getting ready to say it, but I want to say it. She said
trying
that
to
she's
stay on it.
anxious. She says she's anxious, right? So she says that anxiety is an indicator that an area needs healing. So those are things that we're talking about, that learn from the experience. Like, for instance, she's able to identify that she's anxious, and that just indicates that there's an area that needs healing, because whenever that area is being stirred or is resurfacing or surfacing, or something's triggering that area, then she gets anxious.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and a lot of times, and I'm like that too, I can find areas in me where I can probably get anxious about something.
I never thought about it like that.
That's a great nugget. You know what I mean? Thank you, Miss Sandy, for that. I mean, dropping that nugget on the fam. I know I'm gonna start paying attention to that. Areas that I'm very anxious in could be areas that I need to get some healing in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the Bible tells you, do not be anxious, right?
Right.
Do not be anxious and do not worry. So those areas, when we're talking about anxious and when we're talking about worry, those are things that there's something that has happened in life that has brought us to that point where we start worrying about the possibilities or the impossibilities, or what could possibly occur, what couldn't occur. And then you also become anxious because, you don't have that type of control of knowing what it is.
Right.
And so we all go through that because it's truly dependent on everything that we've gone through in our life, in our childhood. Mm-hmm. And if we ever find ourselves, if in our childhood we found ourselves, and this is just, if we found ourselves in our childhood that we became anxious because we weren't in control of the situation, or we felt like lost, or not knowing answers or what to do, or something happened and how to react about it, or you didn't have any control because you were a child, that caused you to also be anxious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that goes with that, but those are great points that she's talking about, because anxiety is one of those things. Worry is another one of those things. When you look back and you see there's all these negative emotions, they came and they rooted from somewhere. Mm-hmm. So where did that fear come from? When you see a little child walking around, they're not fearful of the edge. They'll walk all the way to the edge.
Well, that's facts, though.
Yep.
That's facts.
They'll walk all the way to the edge. They ain't they say hello to everybody. They'll run outside barefooted while there's a bunch of glass in the ground, because they don't have any consciousness of the things that could possibly happen. Right?
Right.
And they're not really worried about it. They were fearless.
Yeah.
Right? But yet we somewhere along the line build that wall of fear and that barrier and that area of us. Right? So we have that fear, and it's funny that she pops up with anxiety is fear-based. Anxiety is fear-based. It's that fear in us that causes, and then they come into different type of emotions in our lives because we don't know. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of don't knows. And so it causes that. There's a fear of something in our lives that then causes this secondary reaction. So part of that is also forgive yourself, which we've been talking about here. Forgive the other. If there's another, a person, or even, for losses where someone actually passes away. Sometimes I've seen people who've gotten angry because the person passed away at the person. And so, that's, everybody's journey is different, and that's what we're talking about. And let it go. And what we want to say with that is that we understand that letting go is not as easy as we're making it sound. Those are just little things to kind of get you into that area. And I love the fact, and I will continue to say this area about anxiety and how to be indicators. Look for other indicators. And spiritually allow God to take control of the situation and allow peace to set in. And what that means is don't relive the moments.
Right.
Don't stay sitting and reminiscing of what angered you, of what hurt you, what pained you, what disappointed you, all of that, which will then come back and trigger the anxiety and the worry and the fear,
Right.
and so on. So, and those are just little things for you, right? Salam is saying fight or fight mode comes into place. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel like you're taking my job, by the way.
No.
I'm
do
sorry.
that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
So here's the thing when it comes to Salam, and I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, listen. Don't get in the way of that.
Yep.
All right, fam. Listen, you know what time it is.
What?
Yeah. Okay, family. This is my favorite part of the show. My favorite segment of the show. It's where the first lady takes the content of the show, breaks it all down, and puts it all back together again with the Word of God. It is the most beautiful thing you will hear on the radio today, fam. Okay, family. Carmen's final thought.
Thank you. I am so appreciative of everyone who's online, who's listening, who's watching, who's putting in their input. Thank you so much. I wanted to say that there's so much information that we talked about today. This conversation of the journeys that we ourselves have experienced and what we have gone through. Our processes, our understanding whether there has been forgiveness, has not been forgiveness, what those trigger points were, what caused those type of anxieties or those type of worries, what fear truly lives in us. The Bible says that the Lord doesn't give us a spirit of fear. So we automatically know that doesn't come from him. He gives us the power of sound mind, self-discipline, and love. And we have that already in us. So something caused a fear to occur in our lives, whether that was at young age, mid-age, somewhere in between. There's something that occurred. And then in the process, there were other stumbling blocks and other rocks and other stones that occur in our life that cause scars and hurt and deep cuts that as time went by, it just became very natural to live in that pain and that hurt. And we didn't understand it, why certain things in our life didn't work out, or why certain relationships wouldn't work out. Because we've never given the opportunity to actually forgive what first caused that type of fear and hurt in us. Go all the way back to what it was and be able to release what that is in us, that type of fear, that fear where the Bible tells us that we should be like children to be able to enter the kingdom. Because the children, they come innocent with love and joy, but they also come fearless. They don't hold anything. They don't look and judge. They don't point out anything. They don't know what's hurt, what's pain, in the sense of their innocence, not of what life occurs in them. But in their sense of their innocence by the natural, that's what happens in them. So in that fear base, while we're learning how to forgive and we're learning how to let go, start looking at yourself. Like Kevin was talking about. Do the self-assessment. Look at you. Look and see what is that hurt. Identify it. Call it out by name. Speak about it. Be able to identify it and call it out and let it go. Release it. Slowly but surely, but let it go and allow what God has created for you to set itself in place. He didn't give you a spirit of fear, so there's so much more of a spirit that he has given you, of these fruit of the spirit, where he's giving you love, patience, and joy, and kindness, and goodness, and all this greatness, this self-discipline, this love, this power within you to be able to not only transform within you, but also when you encounter others, transform them, to be able to also flow in their lives and show them what is the difference of a life that has been forgiven and a life that has accepted the love that God has given, but also let go of the fear and allow God to take control of the path in which he's taking you, but also realize that you're worth it and that you are enough, and that what has occurred to you in your life is not your definition. It's not. It's just a part of your journey that you'll be able to share with others to show them that there is a better way, that there is a better life, that there is an out, and there is a way to let go. The word clearly tells us on Mark 11:25, and when you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins. It all ties in. So family, just self-assessment. Look at you. We can't wait to talk to you next week in regards to the rest of this healing process, because we know that God is doing a work not only in us, but in you too. And we can't wait to see it fully come in fruition. Hey family, you know how we always do. We celebrate the one and only. The reason for our journey. Today we celebrate him with our Indie Artist of the Month, Salam, with Smiling. But before we do, we want to leave you with these thoughts.
Family, remember, change is a process. Growth is a process. God loves you enough to allow the process. Trust the process.
Be a blessing today to make an impact tomorrow. Thank you, family, for everything. Thank you for your input. Thank you for listening.
Thank you all. Love you guys.
Hey guys, make sure you're dialed in with us next week. We're going to continue the conversation about healing. Family, we're going to talk about this for as long as we need to, guys. All right. So if you need to listen to the other shows, you can catch them on Podbean. You can listen to them on Facebook. All right. Share the love, guys. Let's share the show. Let's be the talk of the community. We love you guys. Good night.
Let's be the change. Good night, family.
Smiling doesn't come easy when your heart is in pain. Smiling doesn't come easy when you don't have a friend. Smiling doesn't come easy without a dime to your name. And it's easy to stop believing when it won't go your way. Don't give up. Don't give in. Life is rough, but you're gonna win. Don't give up. Don't give in. Life is rough, but you're gonna win. In these troubled times, life is so kind. Where we wanna go seems long and hard to strive. Keep on pressing on, don't go change your mind. So I'm telling you, things will be alright. Alright, 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 Don't give up, don't give up, don't give in, don't give in. Life is rough, but you're gonna win. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give in, don't give in. Life is rough, but you're gonna win. Smiling doesn't come easy when your heart is in pain. Smiling doesn't come easy when you don't have a friend. Smiling doesn't come easy without a dime to your name. And it's easy to stop believing when it won't go your way.